my heart is that if men could make the journey from their head to their heart, then I think a lot of our problems would be solved. I think that it would just kind of...
Good afternoon, everyone. On this Monday, 17 November 2025, I've got all the stories you'll need for your rush hour journey home. In today's episode, we're taking a deep dive into the ongoing situation between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. A new video has surfaced, originally produced by Baldoni's team, which is now being used against him. But is it all much ado about nothing? We'll unpack that in our first story. Plus, there's a content creator who was accused of taking money from Ryan Reynolds' camp after abruptly disappearing. Well, he's returned, and he claims to have information that is absolutely staggering. We're going to start breaking that story down as well. It could turn out to be a very busy week for Baldoni. In the latter half of the episode, we'll cover Marjorie Taylor Greene, her apparent split from Trump and the MAGA base, and why Trump is now calling for the Epstein files to be released. Honestly, what are we even talking about? All these stories and more begin right now on The Rush. We're going to start with a clip from a creator known as Be Better. He's a content creator who more or less vanished for a while, but he's now claiming that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are involved in something quite dark. I'll share that shortly, but first, let's get to the main story of the day. Justin Baldoni making a joke on set. He says, "Sorry I missed the sexual harassment training." I'll play this clip for you and then break down what Baldoni's critics are saying, what his supporters are arguing, and where I personally land on it. Before we get into it though, I think it's worth reminding everyone that we never truly have full context, no matter how we look at something. As Einstein said, when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. It's all about perspective. That's the essence of confirmation bias. Most people won't shift their opinion, regardless of what they see here. That said, this clip was released by Baldoni's own team, so let's take a look at it. In the scene, Baldoni calls Blake Lively's outfit sexy, referring to her wearing an oversized jacket. It wasn't as though she was dressed for a night out and he was ogling her. He simply calls it sexy, then asks for a toothpick. Later, he jokes, "Oh, sorry, I didn't go to the sexual harassment training." Under normal circumstances, you probably wouldn't see this as problematic. But in a lawsuit centered around allegations of sexual harassment, this will almost certainly be used, at least publicly, against him. And from what I've seen in comment sections and chat rooms that aren't exactly pro-Baldoni, it is being used against him. But does that really reflect broader public opinion? Or just the views of people who spend all day online? Let's play the clip and discuss. Alright, we should get going. Ready? So, that's the assistant director rallying everyone for the next scene, the background actor, the main cast. And this is the moment when hair and makeup come in for the usual last-minute touch-ups. Justin says, "We need a toothpick." Obviously, it's nothing dramatic. You've had something to eat. You're heading back onto set, and they need continuity to look right. "Toothpick, please." "Ma'am, do you have a toothpick?" So about 17 people needed to hunt one down. No big deal. They've got the fog machines on, giving the set a nice smoky atmosphere. Then comes the moment, and I'll have to repeat it, because it's difficult to hear, where he says, "Sorry, I missed sexual harassment training." And that's the line everyone is now circulating. I'm going to assume this is indeed what he said, though it's almost impossible to make it out clearly on the video. The title cards read, "Sorry, I missed sexual harassment training." He was speaking to Jenny Slate and Blake Lively. This clip has been shared heavily by pro-Blake Lively communities as supposed proof that Justin Baldoni, while making a film about domestic violence, is casually joking about sexual harassment training right in front of his co-stars. Now, if you're inclined to see the worst in it, you'll say, "Dave, you sound like such a bootlicker defending Baldoni here." But what I will say, at the very least, is that we have absolutely no idea what the context was. I'll share a few comments from people who've tried to break it down themselves. But first, here's what TMZ reported. According to TMZ, Baldoni made an offhand remark as the cast of It Ends With Us were preparing to film a scene. He said, "Sorry I missed the sexual harassment training, but it was apparently a joke about the wardrobe for the scene." TMZ essentially provides the contextual explanation. The video was submitted as an exhibit by Justin Baldoni in the Wayfarer case, Wayfarer being his production company in his ongoing legal dispute with Blake Lively. The footage shows Blake, Justin, and background actors getting ready for a bar scene. You can see Blake, Justin, and Jenny Slate sitting at a table chatting casually. In the middle of it, Justin can be seen and heard saying the word "sexy" while looking in Blake's direction. In his legal filing, Baldoni's lawyer writes that the use of that word was entirely unremarkable, noting that Blake was not scantily dressed. She was wearing a fleece onesie, as were all the actors in the scene. And if you recall an earlier clip, Blake herself told the crew that her shoes were sexy. So is it just banter, an ongoing running joke? Honestly, we have no idea. The real question is whether Baldoni is allowed to describe something as sexy when he's clearly not objectifying anyone. And in my opinion, yes, it's just a word. And whether it's inappropriate entirely depends on tone and context. Trying to explain this makes me feel a bit grimy, but saying that's sexy isn't inherently a problem. Some will argue that he was the boss and in a position of power. Yes, but he was also the director. Directors and producers manage the creative vision of the film. They literally work with wardrobe and makeup to produce scenes that are meant to look comedic, intense, romantic, tired, glamorous, or yes, even sexy. They use makeup, lighting, and clothing to communicate mood to the audience. If he's trying to communicate a tone or having a bit of a joke, then that's part of the job. This is exactly the tricky position Baldoni is in. He needs to guide the energy of the room while also acting in the scene, essentially directing and performing at the same time, all while in the middle of a major lawsuit. Moments later, Justin says, sorry I missed the sexual harassment training," while glancing toward ... Jenny and rolling his eyes. In the legal filing, Baldoni's team says he was apologizing in case his earlier remark had been inappropriate. A couple of minutes after that, during preparation for the same scene, Justin says, "Well, my apologies," while speaking to Blake and Jenny. And Blake replies, "All good." And that's the whole moment. And that's the essence of it. A few of the comments I came across were quite interesting. One person wrote, "You never denied making the sarcastic comments Blake included in her complaint." While he's making those remarks and rolling his eyes, Blake is laughing nonstop, as if they're both in on the joke. I don't understand how this is her big piece of evidence. Jenny says something, we can't hear what, but Justin responds to her. Jenny is always making inappropriate jokes, and perhaps that's true. I genuinely have no idea. That's why I keep saying there's so little context here that I wouldn't use this as meaningful evidence for anything, let alone a sign that Blake will win the case. Honestly, I think it will end up being a complete nothing burger for everyone involved. Without a Crystal Ball also had several things to say today. She wrote, "Remember the rumor about Ryan Reynolds shouting at Blake in her trailer on the set of It Ends With Us? An insider just told me that this incident happened in the first half of filming, before Blake demanded additional protections. It involved Ryan seeing the dailies, the day-to-day footage, and not liking what he saw. After that, he was on set every single day, unless he was away filming Deadpool. Apparently, Ryan thought Blake was being too flirty with Justin while playing Lily. Then Ryan started rewriting the script and altering scenes to make Lily generally awful to Ryle. We already know Ryan Reynolds did rewrite certain things during the writer's strike, which he technically wasn't supposed to do as a union member. But does this give Blake a motive to create distance between herself and Baldoni in order to protect her marriage? It's certainly a stretch, but that's the theory some people are running with. Speaking of stretches, coming up next, I'm going to share something from Be Better. This guy Marcos, who says he has information he isn't ready to reveal. But he's looking for a journalist to help him expose Ryan Reynolds. It's admittedly juicy. I'll break that down in a moment. I've learned that how you sleep is just as important as how long you sleep. And Lisa really delivers on the how. Have I ever looked so well rested? My Reserve hybrid mattress feels like staying in a 5-star hotel. From the very first night, you notice the difference. Premium materials, full body support, and genuine comfort, no matter how you sleep. Lisa mattresses are carefully designed and assembled in the United States for exceptional quality. They also offer free shipping, easy returns, and a 120-night sleep trial. Lisa has been named Best Hybrid Mattress by the New York Times, Wirecutter, and is exclusively featured by West Elm as their preferred mattress partner. Visit lisa.com for the Black Friday/Cyber Monday sale and get an additional £50 off with promo code RUSHHOUR, exclusively for my listeners. That's lisa.com, promo code RUSHHOUR, 30% off mattresses, plus an extra £50 discount. Support the show and let them know I sent you. lisa.com.
Promo code RUSHHOUR. This episode is also sponsored by Masterclass. With Masterclass, you can learn from the very best to become your best. It's a brilliant gift for the holiday season. I actually gifted a Masterclass subscription to a family member who wanted to add a bit more fun to her life. I gave her Amy Poehler's class on applying improv principles to everyday situations. With Masterclass, you get thousands of bite-sized lessons across 13 categories, perfect for even the busiest schedules. Plans start at £10 a month when billed annually, and you get unlimited access to over 200 classes taught by top chefs, writers, entrepreneurs, performers, and more. And there's no risk. Every membership comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Masterclass always runs exceptional holiday deals, sometimes as high as 50% off. Head to masterclass.com/rushhour for the latest offer. That's up to 50% off at masterclass.com/rushhour. I'm not going to play the full clip because it's nearly 10 minutes long, but here is Be Better discussing the situation. He claims he has information so significant, so disturbing, illegal, and disgusting that he needs a journalist's help to expose it. Have a listen. And that's essentially where things stand. He goes on to say that he wants to connect with a proper journalist who can guide him through vetting the information. He stresses that the last thing he wants to do is say anything he isn't absolutely certain about. Not just 100%, but 110% beyond any doubt. Perhaps part of the information is accurate. Perhaps parts need correcting. Either way, he wants to get his facts straight, work out precisely what's true and what isn't, and then share it with someone who can publish the story with the legal protections provided by a mainstream media outlet. In other words, he doesn't want to be sued into oblivion, so he claims he has a source telling him that there are things about Ryan Reynolds that are so disturbing, illegal, and disgusting that he needs professional help to expose them. What those things might be, I've no idea. It may well have nothing to do with the Baldoni situation at all. But I will say this, the negative press surrounding all of this has been considerable. On the Rush Hour podcast, we try to cover a range of stories. Bravo Khan, Tom Sandoval teasing he wants to be on the Valley, and no one caring. All fairly superficial. But this is major celebrity culture territory, involving the darker inner workings behind big productions. People leveraging their power, trying to control films, and so on. It may feel like we've discussed it endlessly, but what more could the public want? It's arguably the biggest entertainment news story since Johnny Depp, though that was a completely different situation, rooted more in a couple's personal issues than a film production spiraling into chaos. One comment making the rounds is that Danny Greenberg will likely testify that Ryan Reynolds made threats to WME regarding Justin Baldoni, allegedly saying he would mess up or even kill Justin and his family if they attended the premiere. If true, that would be extraordinary testimony. Danny Greenberg is either Baldoni's agent or the actor who played the doctor in the film. I might be mixing that up. But either way, those would be shocking allegations if Ryan really made those threats. Katie from Without a Crystal Ball actually reported months ago that Ryan Reynolds made physical threats against Justin and his family if they turned up at the premiere. She claimed at the time that her source was credible. Back then, we didn't have as many messages, screenshots, or pieces of evidence. So many people dismissed her as exaggerating.
Now it seems she might have been right all along. How relevant this is to the actual litigation is unclear. If Blake Lively was genuinely harassed and her claims are true, then a husband threatening the alleged perpetrator wouldn't necessarily negate her complaint. But if Blake is fabricating things, as many people believe, myself included, then the entire dynamic shifts. My own opinion hasn't changed, but I also understand Baldoni's point. He has said publicly that he is neurodivergent and he does sometimes say odd things. That can complicate things when you're a director. Your job is to guide a team, communicate clearly, and shape the emotional tone of a scene. Baldoni was trying to direct Blake Lively, while she increasingly seemed to want to take the reins herself. It's a wild situation. Now, here's an interesting crossover, a link between Justin Baldoni's world and Rebel Wilson. The Australian actress is being sued by the production company behind her own film. We've covered the story before, though it hasn't had many major developments. The UK-based company alleges that Rebel Wilson deliberately sabotaged the film's release by issuing threats and making defamatory claims. How does Baldoni fit into this? He doesn't, but his PR team does. That's where things get interesting. According to new court documents, Rebel Wilson is being accused of running one of those anonymous smear websites that publish misleading or false information. She's being sued by a woman named Ghost. Ghost's claim that Rebel was behind the site appears to depend largely, if not entirely, on a single alleged text message from Melissa Nathan, co-defendant. Sound familiar? Ghost hasn't provided the message, hasn't said who it was allegedly sent to, and hasn't offered any concrete proof. Yet the accusation stands. Rebel supposedly ordered one of those sites to be set up. Meanwhile, Melissa Nathan has filed a declaration explaining who she is and outlining her work for TAG, the PR firm. She states clearly that she never received instructions from Rebel Wilson, nor from anyone acting on her behalf, to create any such website. She says neither she nor TAG were ever directed to do anything of the sort. Which raises the big question: did Melissa Nathan create these websites at all? And if she did, hypothetically, could this end up relevant to the Baldoni case? If she has a track record of creating smear sites for other clients, Blake Lively could attempt to argue that similar tactics were used here in a way that can't easily be traced. It's a big if, but Melissa Nathan appears to be extremely busy in the background of several high-profile disputes. This episode of The Rush Hour is sponsored by Veracity. Welcome to an all-natural way to slim down, boost your energy, and sharpen your focus. Veracity is transforming health by addressing the root cause of so many struggles: metabolism. With Veracity's drug-free, clinically proven, doctor-formulated products, you can support your body's needs and move towards your healthiest self. If your aim is weight loss, you should consider trying Metabolism Ignite, a natural, safe, plant-based supplement shown to reduce hunger by 85% and clinically proven to help users lose an average of 9 pounds in 90 days. I began taking Metabolism Ignite a couple of weeks ago, just 2 capsules with breakfast, and I feel energized and focused throughout the day. Veracity contains a distinctive blend of lemon verbena and hibiscus extracts, green coffee bean extract, and magnesium. It isn't just another quick fix for weight gain. The products are designed to support a genuinely healthier lifestyle. So make the switch to GLP-1s the natural way. Visit Veracity Self-Care.com during their Black Friday sale to get up to 50% off your order. Once again, that's veracityselfcare.com for 50% off. Now, shifting from Hollywood drama to political chaos, Donald Trump has spent much of his second term trying to prevent the release of the Epstein files. He has repeatedly dismissed the matter as a Democratic hoax and insisted there is nothing incriminating within the documents. However, his stance has now changed, with House Republicans overwhelmingly prepared to vote in favor of releasing the files. Trump appears to be repositioning himself. Of course, the Senate must still decide whether to take up the vote, and the president can choose to veto it. So there's still a long road ahead before anything becomes public. Nevertheless, Trump announced last night, as he set aboard Air Force One on Friday, that House Republicans should vote to release the files because